Good morning, and welcome to our session 4 of the Grief Relief COVIDeo series. My name is Timothy Hess, and I'm a certified grief recovery specialist and certified life coach in Edenton, North Carolina. In our session 1 video, we discussed the profound grief that we are all feeling as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. In session 2, we discussed helpful actions that we can each take to feel more centered and empowered in the ever-changing new normal of our daily lives. In session 3, we began to discuss helpful ways to deal with feelings of isolation as we experience shelter-in-place orders, as well as the closures of businesses, schools, churches, entertainment events, and so many other events. We will continue that discussion today. So, let's get started. Our 5th suggestion is to not intellectualize what you're feeling. Grief is emotional, not logical or intellectual. Following CDC and government regulations for sheltering in place and physical distancing is what we should all be doing for our own safety and the welfare of our families, co-workers, and community. But that doesn't mean it's easy. Far from it, actually. There's no need to explain away your feelings with intellectual truths. In fact, doing that could make you feel more isolated because you think that you have no one to talk to, and that you're the only one feeling this way. Please reach out every day to family and friends. Tell them your truth and how you're feeling, and be a patient listener to understand how they're feeling. Knowing that we are not unique in our feelings, nor are we alone, definitely helps us to feel more centered and connected rather than isolated. Our 6th suggestion is to avoid harmful or excessive habits. This is the suggestion that no one really wants to hear about it, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. Being isolated and feeling totally out of sorts can prompt us to engage in short-term energy-relieving behaviors, also known as STERBs, S-T-E-R-B-S, the acronym. STERBs are activities that distract you from sad or painful feelings following a loss, and we all engage in them. And in these times, we have all lost so much. These STERBs work, but only for the short term. Eventually, they stop working, and they also bring with them a host of negative effects and outcomes. Some common STERBs are alcohol, food, drugs, smoking, gambling, shopping, video games, keeping frantically busy, and isolation. The list goes on and on. We each have fallback habits that can give us a sense of comfort when we are stressed. But any of these habits in excess can definitely harm us. I find myself in the pantry several times a day looking for something to nibble on, even though I'm not actually hungry. Can you identify with that? Getting outside more really helps, but rainy days are definitely challenging pantry-wise. What are your STERBs, and how can you begin to think about them differently? Our 7th suggestion is to check in with family members and friends every day. Make it a habit, a good habit. Set a time and connect. Keeping in close touch with our loved ones will definitely help us to combat feelings of loneliness. Our final suggestion today is to practice your present moment skills. It is very easy and understandable in these difficult times to be fearful and unsure. When you find yourself getting out of the moment, remember that you can bring yourself back to the present. First, acknowledge your thoughts and feelings so that you're not avoiding them. If we avoid them, we're back to the STERBs. Focus on what's happening in the present moment right in front of you. This works best if you allow yourself to have your feelings as they arise and then release them. It's much harder if you try to ignore or push your feelings away. This definitely takes practice, but is very much worth the effort. Practice being in the moment. We're about out of time today, but please join us again next week when I'm going to focus on a set of thoughts to help us create some helpful structure in this temporary new normal that we find ourselves in. All of the suggestions that I'm presenting are intended to help us reduce our feelings of grief and isolation in these unprecedented times, and they are definitely unprecedented. Thank you for joining me for session 4 today. Please contact me with any questions or suggestions. All of my contact information is on the Serenus Grief Recovery Center Facebook page and also on our website. If you find the information that I'm presenting helpful, please like the post and share it with your friends. We are all grieving and we all need some helpful support. I will be back next week with session 5. Until then, please stay safe and be well.